Okay, so question is simple. I was reading the scripture one day, and then I came across a very simple story. And the story was like this. A certain man was going somewhere, and then the man decided to share his wealth among his workers. Okay. And he gave one 5, he gave one 3, and he gave one 1. Okay. So, and he was expecting them to do something. So when he gave it to them, he said, "Look, I'm going. Okay, so, and I'll come back one day." And he left. So the question is, what was the purpose of the money he gave them? And how will you term or classify such money? If you know, you can just raise your hand. I just need one person to tell me the purpose of the money and how we term that money. Yes. Who can tell me? Okay. So when I say that, what comes into your mind? Give me one word that comes into your mind. Okay, so it's in the Bible. Everybody knows it, right? A certain man was traveling far. Please, can you hear? A certain man was traveling far, and he decided to share his money. Okay, so he called 3 people he trusted. One, he gave 5. The other one, he gave 3. The other one, he gave 1. Question. Okay, what was the reason why he gave the money? What one word will you term that particular money? Yes.
Capital.
Capital. Let's clap for her. Okay. So what that means is that in business, capital is essential. Okay. This is what God was trying to put across to us. That in business, capital is what? It's essential. Okay. So capital is such that you can't hide it, but you have to multiply it. Okay. So the first question is, in our days, how do we get capital? Because without capital, it will be very difficult for you to start a business. Okay. So you need to know how to get capital. In the days of that parable, that man actually gave them the capital. But in our days, are we fortunate to have our father say, "Okay, when I gave birth to you, I saved some money and I want to give it to you as capital so that you start your business"? If you are like that, please raise your hand and let me see you. Okay, so then how can we get capital? Okay, so I'm a student, I've completed school, and probably I've started working. Okay, so earning some, they call it a living wage. Okay, I'm earning some living wage. Can I term that capital? I'm a student, maybe I've even, how do you call it? I've started national service, and the government is paying me how much? Like 450 Ghana cedis, right? So can I say that is my capital to start business? Can I do that? Can I say that? Are you sure? So if you use that as your capital, then how are you going to pay your electricity bill? How are you going to commute to your work? How are you going to eat? Because normally when you start national service, most of the time your father and your mother leaves the responsibility to you. for you to start taking care of yourself because now you are grown. You understand? So, what then you have to do is that no matter how much you take, you have to start spending less than how much you take. No, even if it is small, you have to do that. Okay? That is how you start capital that is free of debt. Okay? You have to start spending less than you take. Now, if I have 450 and I squeeze myself, do all the sacrifices, and then I pay my tithe, I take transport, I do whatever I have to do, and still able to spend 400 cedis, how much is left? 50 cedis. That 50 cedis is not capital, okay? But it is so important to raising capital. So I will have to what? Put that 50 cedis aside. Okay. By the time I go 50 cedis, 50 cedis, 50 cedis, 50 cedis, if I had bought a fixed deposit or put that 50 cedis into data bank M fund and earning 10% on it, by the time I finish, 50 times 12 is how much? 600. But by that time, I'll be getting somewhere around 1,200 because I decided to do data bank and fund, and it's yielding me 10% every month. Okay, so the first one, when I put, they calculated 10% of 50 cedis and put it on it. Then I added another 50 cedis. They calculated 100 cedis and added 10% to it. And then I put 150. And you know, the interest is also there. And they are adding the interest to it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So by the time you finish the whole program, your 600 cedis might have grown to about 900 or 950 cedis. Okay. So, living below your means is critical in raising capital. But you know what happens? In our case now, we rather live above our means or spend all the money. Okay? When you do that, you will never be able to raise capital. Okay, so how can I spend less than my income? It means that I need to budget and stay within the budget. Okay, so a lot of us don't do that. We don't do personal budgeting. When I get the money, oh, I need this, then I go and buy. I need that, I need that. By the time I finish, half of the money is gone. But I don't sit down to say, okay, when the money comes, I'll use it for this, use it for that, use it for that, use it for that, use it for that. And then stay within the means so that you will be able to leave some of the money and then use it to do some form of investment. You get it? So if you can really get a budget and stay within the budget, at least you will get something small. Now, that is very, very crucial. Let me tell you why. I have a friend who earns 3,000 cedis. He has 2 kids, one wife, and he's able to save 700 cedis. I have another friend who also have one wife, one kid, earns take home 5,500 cedis. And every day he's asking me of money. By the third week, the money is gone. Okay. So how is it that someone is able to receive 3,200 cedis and is still able to save some, and someone gets 5,500 and is not able to save? Okay. So you have to make it your habit. And you start small. If you don't make it your habit, even if you are paid 10,000 cedis, you can't save. And you will not be able to raise capital. Okay. Now, not the consequences of not raising capital is that the business or the job that you are in, that they have taken you, you remain in until you go on retirement. Because if you want to come out of the job, then you want to establish yourself, you still need capital, and you have not saved. You understand? So capital is so important to becoming financially free. In our part of the world, we're not lucky. We came to Africa, where the banks don't help young people or startups. Okay, so you have to find a way of raising this capital. So if it becomes your habit to spend less than your means, you will be a very successful person in the future, because you will be able to raise capital. Okay, so you need capital, and how to get capital is number one, you spend below your means. Now let me give you why it is important to spend below your means. I bought an iPhone, okay, iPhone 5X when it came, okay. At that time, I think it was around 5,000 to 5,500. As I was bringing it, and I forgot. I still use the phone. I still have the phone. That's what I still use. iPhone 5X. Then I was watching a certain man who said, when he was going to buy iPhone 5X, okay, he had someone advise him that he shouldn't buy it. So what he did was, he bought the people who did iPhone 5X, what's their name? Apple. He bought Apple stocks. That is in US. He bought Apple stocks. That was worth somewhere around $300. And as of today, the stock is, he has $3 million in his hands. From $300, he denied himself to $3 million in his hand. So now he's a millionaire. And he was trying to give an example of how people can become millionaires. You understand? So you can decide not to spend right now and enjoy later. Or you can decide to spend right now and become poor later. You remain the way you are. It's really a choice that you have to get. Okay, so we are talking about raising capital. The second thing is that you have to avoid debt. A car. Okay. You have to avoid borrowing. Because look, if you are paid 5,500, and by the time the money comes, you have actually borrowed 3,200, how much do you have left? And can you also set some aside? Okay, so whoever, like the MTN, small time you are in there, you are there, you borrow, you are just digging your grave. You can never have capital. Okay, you can never ever raise capital. And debt is a canker. Once you start, now it's like gambling. Every time there you borrow. Okay, and so it is not a good thing to borrow. Now, if you can be putting your money small somewhere, and then you are able to raise capital, that is one of the best. Okay, so now that I have been able to raise capital, my second point is, how do I get a business idea to use the capital to do? Okay, because the capital is not supposed to be there. You are supposed to multiply money to get money. Okay, if you have money and it's in the bank, it's a wasteful adventure, because the bank will never give you add money to the money that you have. Even fixed deposit that I'm saying, it gives you very low income on it. Do you get my point? So you have to put it at a place where it will multiply. And to put it at a place where it will multiply, it means that you need to start a business. But the question is, what business? Do you understand? Okay, what business? That's very, very, very important. What business in Ghana do you think a young man or a young woman like yourself can establish, and it will grow your money in Ghana here? Okay, so someone should give me an answer. Just give me an answer. Yes, madam.
Food business. Food business.
Food business. Okay. Yes, who else? Yes, give me food business. Very, very, very good. Yes.
Pure water.
Pure water business. That's another excellent point. Yes, who can tell me?
Provision business. Provision.
Provisions. Okay, that's an interesting one. Yes. Who else? Last one.
Organize. Why is the same to just amplify it?
Yes.
Cosmetics.
Cosmetics. Good. Why do you think that came into your mind?
But that top
Yes. So, yes, give it to the woman who said food business. Yes. Why do you think that came into your mind?
Okay. People eat.
People eat.
Yes.
So you have to satisfy their
yes,
cravings.
please.
That's a very
There's
good
a
one.
need for food, so we have to supply the food in it.
Okay. So what is the problem there?
Hunger.
Hunger. That's very nice. Okay. So, first, to start a business, okay, you need to be able to identify a problem. If you don't have a problem, you don't have a business. Okay. I'm not a motivational speaker. That they will tell you that, oh, you need to do what you like, your passion. Look at very rich people in this world. There's none of them who do what they like. Take Zoom Lion. You think Zoom Lion wants to be fetching baller in order to get money? That's not what that's not his passion. Okay, but he identified a need. One day I was sitting in a conference when Zoom Lion came in. And he said, when he told his mother that he wants to go and do bola bola, his mother was like, "Bebe mawu bahunu, mawu bahunu." Every time you said you were going to do this, you were going to become this. Na fe wakwa went me fe the ball and na pesa osisa. Do you get it? So you don't do a passion, you do a problem. Okay. So what is the problem that you want to solve? That's the first question you ask yourself. Okay. Now that you have identified a problem. So you don't choose a product, you choose a problem. You see, when I asked them, the first thing they did was to choose a product. Whether the product will succeed or not, they have chosen the product. They didn't look for the problem. Okay. Look, let me tell you something. Food business is one of the best businesses. It's also one of the businesses that collapse most frequently. You understand? So, if you are thinking about long term, then you have to cook at a place where people will always crave for the same food, okay, continually in that environment. Otherwise, you start a food business and it will collapse. So the question is, what is the problem? Why do you want to start that food business? Okay, what do you want to do? What have you found as a need there? So you start asking questions. So you turn this problem into asking questions. Why are the people in such a situation? Okay, is there anything someone has ever tried in the area and it has not worked? What is the current thing that they are doing? And then the next thing will be that, okay, can I provide a solution to this particular problem? Do you understand? Can I provide a solution? Or first, you say, what is the solution? So this is their problem. This is the solution. Can I do it? And will it last? When you do that, you have a business. Let me give you an example. I offer some services for, Namu Mulati, the one who stood with Nano Mulati, the lady. Okay, I offer some services for her. Now the lady sells sobolo, but she packages it nice. Okay, but she sells one sobolo, just one, the sobolo. No. At that time, that's about 3 years ago, she was selling it for 12 cedis. And it was a rich and the middle-aged people she was selling to. Okay. So after I offered the service, I asked her, why is your sobolo so expensive? Okay, because sobolo is not supposed to be expensive. Why is it that expensive? He said the packaging. Okay, so first I identified that the problem was that the sobolo was what? Expensive. Then I went asking questions about it. Then I realized that she told me that the packaging alone, okay, was 4 cedis 80 pesos. So I got an answer to the question. So I came home and asked a friend of mine who ships from China. that she should find out, because she was getting the packaging in Accra. So I asked her, she should find out how much that packaging is in China. Then they said, oh, the whole packaging and the sticker. And the sticker, at that time, she said the sticker was 2 cedis 50 pesos. So I sent a sample to her, and then she sent it to the people in China. They said, oh, the whole thing was going to cost somewhere around 35 pesos for both the packaging and the brand. For one, if she bought somewhere around 200 pieces and above. So give and take, if we were to add shipping and everything, okay, we're going to get something around 60 pesos. What do you think I have done? What do you think I have done? What do you think I have done? Now she's getting the thing around 4 cedis 80 pesos. If I tell her that I will give it to her at 2 cedis, do you think that she will buy it at that place? Now, if I get 10 people, okay, who are into the same business, and I decide to do that supply, what will that make me? It will make me an entrepreneur, isn't it? It will make me a rich person. Whatever money I put in, I'll be able to what? Multiply it. Why? Because I was able to identify a need. I was able to ask questions. I was able to get answer to the problem. And I was able to put myself in the situation to supply her, to answer her problem. And she was very happy. She was extremely happy that I was able to do that. Do you get my point? Okay. Meanwhile, a lot of people always come to buy. The middle age and the high people, they always come to buy. And they complain that the thing is expensive. And yet, they were not able to identify that this is a need and I can provide a need. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Assuming they had an association that produces that, I would have gone straight to that association and tell them that, look, you are getting everything for 4 cedi 50 pesos. I'm ready to provide it to you for 1 cedi 50 pesos when I know I'm getting it for 70 pesos. And everybody in the association will buy my product. And then I'll become a rich person. I don't need to struggle. I would have used the other person to be supplying the thing to me. I'll buy it for 70 pesos and I'll go and supply it. And I'll get a lot of money. So this is how we identify and get a business to do. If you are not curious enough to be able to identify that this is a need, this is a problem, and therefore I need to go there and see if I can solve the problem, you'll be there. Okay? But if you say, oh, I've seen that this area there's no provisions, so let me start a provision. You start a provision, all right. It will look as if it's going on all right. 1 year, 2 years, give and take, it's collapsed. Do you get my point? So this is how, as a young person, you can start a business. Please, any question or any contribution? Yes, madam.
Please, you mentioned earlier that in order to get capital, you should avoid debt. But some school of thought also mentioned that if you are in a institution that they give soft loan and you want to start a business, or the soft loan in another maybe 0 interest, you can go for such kind of loan and start a business or invest it in another venture. And you say we should avoid debt. Is it a good idea to go for such loans or just avoid debt in general?
Okay, so the purpose of those people saying that is to raise capital quick. You get it? So if you have other forms of raising capital, I would advise that you don't go for loan. There's no loan that's called soft loan. Okay. So I did some finance at UCC, and you will realize that there are some people who come around and say, "Oh, the interest is just 2%, or the interest is just 0.5%. Every week we will come for this." You realize that you go for such a loan, you can't pay, and then you will say that, "Oh, this those who give loan is juju money they used to do." No, it's not like that. Because interest means that I'm taking small of the money you took, plus you are paying me for the money I'm giving. You understand? And that's why Bible even says that when you give someone money, don't add interest to it. Because once you do interest, it's like you are taking twice the amount by the time the person finish paying. Do you get it? I once went to a company and they were running on loans. So I decided to do what we call amortization, how their loans are, and then how much they will be paying for the period with which they had taken the loan. The man was just there and said, "I now realize why my business is not going on." Do you understand? Because by the time he took around 30,000, and then by the time the interest was such that by the time he finished paying, he would have paid somewhere around 85,000. How can you go for a 30,000 cedis money, and then you are going to use it to establish a business, and by the time you finish paying, you are paying 85,000? What that means is that anytime you are working, all the profit you are getting, you are actually using it to pay the loan until you finish paying the loan. Do you get my point? So loans, I would not advise loans, but until when you think that there's no other way that you can raise capital but to go for the loan. Do you get my point? The way to do from now, start here free. That's how debt is. By the time you get out of the debt and come up, the people who started small, they would have gone. Do you get it? And the hassle and the pain of the loan alone will not allow you to progress well. So for me, if you have any other thing to do to raise capital, you can do that. If there's no other way, then you can start thinking about the loan. But if you want to go for a loan, you really need a financial manager to really explain to you the effect that it will come on you before you start the loan. Because the effect is so subtle. Okay, especially when you go for a loan from the bank. The cost of the loan, getting the loan from the bank alone, if I tell you what it entails, you never go for a loan from the bank. Okay, so that is it. But that is my understanding. People who have gone for loans, very difficult for them to come out. Okay. So, what I said, and you understand it, are you thinking in your head that you can now begin to get a business idea? Okay. I said that you first have to identify a problem and not a product. You have to ask questions, and then you have to find a solution and see if you can provide a solution, and see if it can be actually what? A business. Okay. So if I break you into, let's say, 10-10, can you come out with a business idea? Since I've shown you how to get a business idea, can you come out with a business idea? So now that I've gotten the business, I've been able to find out, oh, this is the need. And like my brother, you start providing the need. Now you start selling to people. How will you know that this business has a future? Okay, so for those who are in business already, okay, you should have certain things that tells that this business will take me far. Otherwise, when you start within a short time, it will what? It will collapse. You understand? You wouldn't want to be like the one who went for the loan and then had stomach ulcer and had to use all the money to buy provisions in order to settle. You are in trouble. Okay, so if your business is such that you get the money before you render the service, it's a very potential business. Okay, but if the business is such that you have to put in all your money before you get money, before they pay you, sometimes it's very difficult for that business to survive. Because you know, people don't pay like that when it comes to money. Do you get it? So you can put all your money into the business, and then when it comes to payment, you see that the person is paying it small, wash it, scan. Then your business comes to a standstill. So businesses where you say, like my brother's business, do you give it to them before you take the money? If you are selling an iPhone, you give the iPhone to them for them to use and see whether it's good before they pay. For credit, come tomorrow. So such a business will keep on running because it's not dependent on the people's trust. Do you understand? Because I have my money, then I'm running the business. So if you run a business where you have to put in a lot before you take the money, you have to start looking at the business well. And that is why real estate is not my first business. It's my side hustle. Do you understand my point? Because in real estate, I have to take a car, I have to go to the site, you have to take pictures, you have to send it, you have to pay bloggers, you have to do this, you have to join an association, you have to pay, you have to do a lot of things. You are just dumping money into it, not knowing whether someone will come for it now. Because it can take like 6 months before the person comes to pay, before someone buys. And when the person buys, he's paying the money small before you get your money. So that is a good business, but it's not a business that can really last. The other thing is, when you who is the business owner is the key person, that business is not good. So what happens when you get sick? What happens when you get sick? Or what happens when you travel? Do you understand? So there are certain people who have entrepreneurship business. The business depends on them. Without them, the business will not go on. Such a business doesn't have a future. So if you want your business to actually grow and have a future, you should be able to pull yourself out of the business. So that even if you are in the house for 3 days, you have not gone to work, the people are working and you are getting your money. That kind of business has a future. Do you understand my point? Okay. So the third one is recurring income. If your business is like that, when you get the money, it will take about 1 month or 2 months before you get another money. Like contractors, they do one, they wait, the government will pay them. When the money comes, boom, it has come. That's not a good business. Okay, you must get a business that always is money is coming in. Always money is coming in. Okay, and that is a very, very, very good business. And then your business must be such that the customers must be happy. Okay, the Chinese one says that I will spend 10 years to make one customer happy. Because in the next 10 years, that customer will bring me 10,000 customers. You understand what he's trying to say? That if you make a customer happy, if you take all your time to make your customer or customers happy, they will be bringing you businesses. They will be what? Recommending businesses to you. So if you are doing your own business, I think you can treat your customers and you don't have a business. Okay, so you should always This goes for people who are having handiworks. Okay, he's a tailor, and you give your cloth to him, and he say, "Oh, come next week." And 3 months he has not given you the thing. Okay, when he takes his money, you think he will come back. Okay, so you don't have a business. Okay, and the last one is that you have to build a business and not a job. Some people, what they do is that their business is actually their job. Okay, when they get the money, they chop. They get the money, they chop. No, no, no. You have to build a business. And in building a business, it means you need to get employees. So if you are the only person who knows the job, you must teach others so that they will take over from you. You, as a business owner, should always try and pull yourself out of the business. And then you must also look at the processes. If the processes are such that it's not making the business go on, what are the best processes that I can do in order to grow the business? Okay, so after looking at the people, you look at the processes and also look at the profits, because these things, you are in business because of profits. So you always have to make sure that your business is what? Increasing in profit. And then lastly, you have to look at the product. The product. Whether the product is good or it's not good. Is it still meeting the needs of the people? Can I make the product better? Okay. Or do I have to change the product? What am I supposed to do to continue to be in business? If you don't do these things, as time goes on, it will come to a time you have the products there and nobody will buy. You understand? So these things are very, very important. So the next thing I'll talk about, so I want to ask you something. Okay? Please be honest with me. Okay. Do you remember this? Okay. And this. When is there, which one will you choose? Are you sure? Which one will you choose? You choose this one. Why not this one? But it's the same water, right? Okay. So you say you choose this one, right? And this. Which one will you choose? But you said you choose this one. It's step by step. So my question is, why not this? Because the quantity in this is the same quantity in this, and it's the same quantity in this. Why will you choose this and not this and not that? Who can tell me? Yes.
The packaging.
The packaging.
Yes.
Okay, who else? Are you taking it because it is pure? So, will you choose this and this? Okay, they are all water. Are you choosing it because this is pure? Okay, if that is the case, how about this and this?
Definitely we go for this.
You go for which one?
We go for this.
You go for this one?
Yes.
So, how about this and this? Eh? You go for which one? This one. Some say this one, some say this one. So my question is, why do you think I'm showing you this? Why do you think I'm showing you? Yes, I saw the answer you have. Yes. No, the lady.
Branding the thing.
Branding. Okay. So when you go to the market, you see this one is selling tomatoes, this one is selling tomatoes, this one is selling tomatoes, this one is selling tomatoes. But they are buying this one, this one once in a while they will come and buy. So once in a while. Then this one and this one say, Mami wa okoji eduro. Onkoji eduro biya is branded. People buy package. Okay, and they don't mind how much money they will spend in buying the package. Otherwise, you wouldn't buy this one 50 pesos and go and buy this one 2 cents. Do you get my point? So if you have a business and you can't brand the business, that business has no future. If you want to attract serious customers who will come over and over and even tell others about you, okay, you must brand the business. And sometimes the business is yourself. Do you understand? People buy the product not because of how effective the product is, but because of you and your relationship with them. Do you understand? So, branding and relationship is key to making sure that your business progresses. If you take it as a joke, your business will always remain small.